When he eats steak, his plate must have exactly 12 peas. When a friend casually took one, his smile instantly froze, his brow slightly furrowed. A wave of germophobia washed over him. The steak's delicious flavor vanished in an instant. Howard forced himself to maintain a smile, but his stomach was already churning. The moment he entered the bathroom, he immediately pulled out his portable soap, scrubbing his hands vigorously. Each finger between the fingers, even under the nails, had to be thoroughly cleaned until the backs of his hands turned red from repeated friction, his fingertips even bleeding, slightly frowning. He quickly pulled out tissues to wipe them, without realizing he had used an entire box. Just as he sighed with relief, his eyes caught a tiny stain on his shirt. Anxiety surged through him once again. He carefully dabbed soap on it, repeatedly wiping and rinsing until he confirmed the fabric was clean again. Only then did he finally breathe easy, carefully drying the soap before returning it to his pocket. However, as he prepared to leave, his attention was drawn to the door handle. That place, touched by countless people, now seemed covered with invisible germ. His freshly cleaned hands could not be contaminated again. He instinctively looked back for tissues. Unfortunately, they were all used up. He hesitated at the door, only able to wait for the next person to enter, seizing the opportunity to slip out through the gap. His obsession with cleanliness had permeated every corner of his life. Visiting his girlfriend's home, facing a medium rare steak on his plate, his stomach churned. He managed to swallow a few bites, but ultimately couldn't. To continue, more critically, his obsessions didn't just affect his daily life, so they even changed aviation history when designing aircraft. He couldn't tolerate the biplane structure, breaking the model on the spot, eventually inspiring an entirely new single-wing concept during testing. He merely touched the aircraft body with his hand, making the engineers gasp. Sure enough, he quickly identified issues, directly ordering all screws must be completely flush, just to minimize air resistance. This almost fanatical dedication led him to successfully create the world's fastest aircraft at that time. On the test flight day, engineers repeatedly warned, there's only enough fuel for 2 laps, so don't take risks. Guy but Howard just nodded casually. Once in the cockpit, he pushed the throttle to maximum without hesitation. First lap, the aircraft speed climbed to 339 mph. Second lap, braking 347 mph. Everyone held their breath. Fuel nearly depleted, but Howard's goal wasn't just testing, but breaking records. He insisted on pushing into a third lap. The aircraft's speed soared to 352 pi. The crowd on the ground erupted in cheers. But at that moment, the fuel was completely exhausted. The aircraft lost power, just plummeting suddenly. Howard's obsession finally faced the test of fate.